Welcome back, everyone, to the Bear Shop Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, January 4th, and I'm back breaking down some more NFL action for you guys. It's been a little bit. Last game that we had was Monday Night Football between the Lions and the 49ers. Had a 3-0 day there. Going to recap it here. We had team total, Lions 27.5. They were down to start the game. 49ers started out hot. Looked like they couldn't be stopped. Lions defense made a couple stops in the second half. Really what it was Brock Purdy made two pretty bad errant throws, and that cost them the game. But team total for the Lions did cash. Want to know there, Brock Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns hit in the first half. And then we had George Kittle over 7.5 receiving yards. That also might have hit in the third quarter, but I think he had close to 100 receiving yards in that game. An absolute shootout between the two teams. Very fun game to watch, but we're going to move on to the game for Saturday. There's technically two games on. I'm going to be breaking down one of them. The other one's going to be the Browns going up against the Ravens, but we're going to be looking at the Bengals going up against the Steelers. Don't have a lot to talk about for this game. We do have some playoff scenarios that will affect both teams. If the Denver Broncos win on Sunday, the Bengals are out. If the Miami Dolphins win on Sunday, the Bengals are out. So they need a lot of help to get into the playoffs. But if they win this game, they're technically still in, and I do think they will win this game. Going to take the Bengals -2. The Steelers, the only thing that they can improve on is, I think, seeding, and that might not even matter because the Ravens beat the Browns, which they definitely will because the Browns are going to be on their third-string quarterback, and I don't even know if some of the offensive players are playing, and they're +20 tomorrow going up against the Ravens. So if the Ravens win that game, they lock up the division, and the Steelers cannot move in the seeding as well. So I don't think this game really matters for the Steelers. This game means everything, though, for the Bengals. They have to win to stay alive. I think they will win this game. Final score 31-27. Joe Burrow's been playing amazing. That's all we can say. It's this offense just willing this team to win. Coaching hasn't been great. Defense has been horrible. Joe Burrow has been the best player in football for the last several weeks. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, that entire offense is clicking. Pittsburgh has been a little bit vulnerable on the defensive side over the last couple games, and the offense has not been clicking at all. Only reason I'm giving the offense 27 points is because how bad the Cincinnati defense has been all season long. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals here. -2 as the play. Not a whole lot to talk about on this game. Bengals in a do-or-die situation. They've got to win. Pittsburgh really not playing for anything if the Ravens beat the Browns, which they definitely will. So I'm just going to stick with the Browns here on the -2 as the play. I think they can go into Pittsburgh and win this game, even though Pittsburgh as an underdog historically has been great. I'm taking the Bengals -2 as the play. Let's go to the player props. Both player props will be Cincinnati Bengals, as you probably could imagine. We're going to start with Joe Burrow over 2.5 passing touchdowns. This is going to be plus money. Don't know how it's still plus money. He's gone for 3+ passing touchdowns. Holy hell. Let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consecutive games. 8 consecutive games. Joe Burrow has thrown for over 3+ passing touchdowns. Going over 2.5 passing touchdowns in this game. Last game against Denver, 49 pass attempts, 412 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He is first in yards this season. He is first in touchdowns this season. He is second in QBR. He is putting up numbers like we've seen it a couple times in NFL history with some of these quarterbacks winning MVPs, but Joe Burrow's not really talked about as an MVP. I think he's third or fourth right now on the list. I really think Joe Burrow should win the MVP. MVP is who is the best player in the NFL. Joe Burrow, I think, is the best player in the NFL. I know most of it is, how well is your team playing and how good does your team look going into the playoffs? Or is your team winning games? Bengals defense, they took the best year of Joe Burrow's career away from him because this has been his best year of his entire career, and the defense has been nowhere to be found. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, and it's sad to see. If you're a Bengals fan, I feel horrible for you. You have cheap ownership, not going to pay T. Higgins in the offseason, and that's going to be the guy we're going to talk about. T. Higgins, anytime touchdown in this game. If you've been watching the Bengals play, it has been force-feeding T. Higgins time. Over the last 7 games for T. Higgins, he has had 13 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets, 11 targets, 8 targets, 12 targets, 8 targets. That's a ton of targets. Jamar Chase has been getting doubled in a lot of these games. Jamar Chase has been one of the best receivers in the NFL, probably the best receiver in the NFL this season, but whenever there's extra attention on Jamar Chase, that leaves T. Higgins wide open. The last game against the Broncos, 11 catches out of 12 targets, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns in that game. We have now seen T. Higgins go for 858 yards and 10 touchdowns, maybe the quietest 10 touchdowns of the entire season. He only needs, 142 more yards for 1,000 yards in the year. Probably not going to get it, but I think they're going to at least try to get it. So I'm sure he has some incentives for that 142. I think he will get in the end zone in this game. I think Joe Burrow will throw a passing touchdown to both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in this game, and the Bengals will put up a big number going up against Pittsburgh. So T. Higgins, anytime touchdown will be the second play of the day. Let's go to the recap graphic. Bengals -2. We're putting all the eggs in one basket. Bengals -2. We're going to take Joe Burrow over 2.5 passing touchdowns, and then T. Higgins, anytime touchdown in the same game, all going up against Pittsburgh. I know people are going to say, well, what about Pittsburgh's great defense? Well, guess what? Pittsburgh in the secondary this season is ranked 22nd defensively. 22nd. They're kind of falling in the rankings on defense as well. They're kind of falling apart altogether as a team. There's been controversy in the locker room. One person's not doing their job. Nobody's going to say who it is. It's just been eating this team alive. We saw George Pickens and Russell Wilson the other day on the press conference. Russell Wilson said what? He said we weren't on the same page. Then he just pulled up his little beanie thing and didn't talk to the media for the rest of the day. There are problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I'm taking the Bengals, and I'm taking the Bengals. Guys, that's going to do it for the NFL picks and props for Saturday, January 4th slated games. You guys enjoyed the content. Please share, like this video, and subscribe channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.